What is up, Waffle Gang? My name is Mark, and today we're covering some more r/relationships. If you'd like to skip the initial waffle, timestamps are in the description and along the timeline below. But if you are new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell too. A huge thank you for taking the time out of your day to be here. It really does mean the world to me. I don't know how many times I can tell you that, but I really do appreciate you. So thank you so much. And with that being said, let's crack on with today's stories. Now, our first story comes from Wentworth Bandit, and it does have an update to this too. I, 27 female, just found out my fiance, 24 female, has been cheating on me with a bunch of guys. We live together and I've been raising her baby as my own. How do I manage this heartbreak? My fiance always sort of hid our relationship, and she convinced me it was due to homophobia in our extended family. Her parents are fine and my family has really supported her. Today I found out it's because she's been cheating on me for months. Lately she stopped taking her meds. She has severe depression, possibly bipolar disorder, and does nothing but smoke weed and watch YouTube all day. She's been using me for free rent and childcare. She refused to work or pick up after herself. I knew something was up, so I finally caved and checked her phone because I knew she was lying to me when I asked her if she was involved with someone else. I found out she's been involved with multiple men, and when I confronted her, she told me she hasn't loved me romantically for some time now. She gaslit me a ton, and if COVID hadn't come along, would probably be married by now. She was just never going to admit to me what she was doing behind my back. She told me that deep down she feels the love is still there, but when she's not taking her medication, she just shuts down emotionally and starts risky behaviours again. It was so hard to stand my ground and break things off. I love her so deeply, and I love our 2-year-old even more. She calls me mummy sometimes, and she's my family. I'm not biologically related, and I'll never get to see my baby again. I really don't even know how to begin to get over this. It hurts so much right now. I feel like I'm waiting for the hours to pass in this day so I can go to bed. I feel shattered by this, but I know I deserve better and need to move on. I could really use some advice on what others have found healing. Or maybe you all have found a good distraction when you're hurting. Edit, just to clarify, I ended it as soon as I found out about the cheating. I'm just not used to saying ex-fiance yet. I've seen a few people imply I'm stupid for not breaking things up. I ended things immediately. And it makes it so much worse when a child is involved, especially when you're so invested in their lives and you want to care for them and you've been looking after them. And knowing that not being together is going to split you up from them as well. It's absolutely heartbreaking, but maybe there's some way around that. Maybe the ex-fiance will still let you into their lives. Well, hopefully anyway. But Analog Dude says, keep going day by day. Do the minimum to have a decent life. Take a deep breath every so often and think about what's next. Make some plans. I know it's tempting, but don't get in another relationship for a while. Make some more plans and do some stuff. Do some more stuff. Eventually you'll get to the point where you won't think of her. Then you have a decent life. Keep the friends you can. Make some more who never knew about her. Maybe reach out to people and try to start another relationship. Do that and you'll be able to move on. I know this help is vague, but it will get you through the worst of it at least. It's just a rough sketch. It's up to you to fill in the details. Just be yourself and try to make every day better than the one before it. And I love that advice. As a meme I've just posted recently, progress is progress. Every little step counts. Don't forget that. Now let's have a look at the update post. Update, she started showing all of her crazy. Turns out she was getting engaged to another person too. It's been quite a while since my last post. My head was scrambled from all the abuse in my relationship. My fiance would sit around and smoke weed and lie about cheating all day long while I raised her child and put a roof over our heads. Lately she's been harassing me from fake numbers. I took some advice that was given to me and called CPS. I was well aware that she was driving around high and picking up the kid from school, and know she would take her child to drug deals since I was no longer around to watch the kid. She tried to manipulate me into letting her back in by telling me she and the kid were homeless and the child was in danger from being out on the street with no food. I came to find out this wasn't true, which I suspected, but I wasn't willing to take any chances with a kid I had considered my own for a while. So I called CPS. I couldn't, in good conscience, not do anything knowing my baby was in danger, even though she isn't mine anymore. I was terrified of just coming off as a vindictive ex, but it had to be done. Of course my ex is safely living with her family and the kid is well taken care of. She was just trying to weasel her way back in and get money and other things out of me. As it turns out, she was dating a man at the same time she was dating me. He and I ended up getting in touch. She apparently introduced both of us to her daughter and told both of us she wanted to get engaged to us at the same time. He was all ready to propose around the same time as me, but then he lost his job, so she chose me. Solely because I could financially provide for her and he couldn't anymore. Here's the real kicker though, she started texting him again shortly before I, figuratively, kicked her ass to the curb. She could tell I wanted out of the relationship, so she told him I beat her and her daughter and forced her to break up with him. Luckily he knew it was bullshit. I didn't even really know about him until around when I broke up with her. But it opened my eyes to what a horrible manipulative person she is. Even if she doesn't get what's coming to her, I just hope that baby is okay. She's such a sweet girl and can't help how her mum behaves. She deserves the best of everything, and I truly hope my ex gets help because I want the kid to have a good life. I'm just struggling with this lately. I miss the kid and it's heartbreaking, but I don't miss her. So now CPS is involved. I'm not sure how it all quite works, so I'm looking for advice on this one. So with CPS, do they try to find a family member first, or do they just if it came to it, take the child and put them in the foster care system? How would that work? I hope they try and find a decent family member first before going down that road, but as I said, I'm not totally sure. But wow, what an absolute loon. How would you deal with something like that after you found out that's just completely turned your whole life upside down, and someone else as well, some other poor guy on the other end of it? Wow, that is one toxic person. But what do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below. And our next story is from a throwaway account. My 25 female husband, 37 male, wants his creepy, sexually manipulative friend, maybe 40 male, to baptize our baby, and I feel sick about it. Hi everybody, I admit I'm not familiar with this sub and haven't been on Reddit in years. I just really need advice. I'm going to explain this mess as best as I can, but it really is a mess. I appreciate your time and attention in advance. My 25 female husband, 37 male, is the greatest man ever. He's incredibly kind, generous, intelligent and loving. On top of this, he's an adorable nerd, which to me is a great quality. His dorky jokes are my favourite thing, but means he was bullied a lot as a child and is not terribly socially confident. He is definitely a follower, not a leader. I think all these qualities are relevant to the current situation. To begin at the beginning, at the time I met my husband, I was struggling with an addiction to prescription medication, which I had developed while studying at a very competitive college. By the time I started dating my husband, it was getting impossible to hide the fact that I had a serious problem. While he was incredibly supportive and encouraged me to seek help, I was ashamed. So I lied. I told him I was already seeking professional help and that I was really getting better, when in reality I was just going cold turkey and shoved all the emotions down until they went away. Author's note, this is not a good strategy. I immediately felt awful about this, which made me more reluctant to come clean. At this time, my husband introduced me to his old childhood friend, whom I'll call A. A is a Catholic priest and was staying with my husband at the time. Both A and my husband are from a Catholic country in Europe. Both of their families are part of one of those charismatic movements, which is like a very close-knit conservative church group. Because A was always the cool and confident guy growing up, my husband worshipped A. He talked A up to me and was insistent that I talk to A alone about my addiction problems because he sincerely believed A could help with my recovery. I met with A a total of 4 times over the course of 1 week. All these meetings took place in my husband's apartment when my husband was out. During the session, he seemed nice and helpful, and because I was feeling so bad about lying to my husband, I pretty much fessed up to him straight away. Basically, from this point forward, A creeped me out. I don't know how to explain it other than he was constantly looking at me like I was food. I think I remember this next part till the day I die. It was so awful. During our 4th and final session, A asked me a series of questions about the kind of sexual things I had done with my husband, who was at the time still my boyfriend. When I told him honestly that we didn't do anything physical other than hug and kiss, he laughed and said that my husband was always so bad with girls, and if I were used correctly, I'd be much happier and my addiction issues would go away. I was just kinda dumbstruck. He moved closer to me and said verbatim, "Think about it this way. God does everything for a reason, and he made you very sexually attractive to please men. Isn't it wrong that you're not using your gift correctly? Does it not follow that you would feel more fulfilled if you did use it correctly?" At this point my brain was screaming, nope, so I told him, nope, with my mouth too. Right away he got hostile and threatened in a whole lot more words to expose my lie to my husband if I didn't have sex with him. Yeah, nope. I didn't hesitate to tell my husband about my lie and about his backstabbing awful friend. I'm so grateful my husband believed me and that he gave me a second chance. My husband, being always an upstanding citizen, reported the incident to A's home diocese in Europe, which put him on indefinite leave. I'm pretty sure this is Catholic for fired because he's a fucking creep. This was 2.5 years ago. In the meantime, I got professional help. We got married and are now expecting a baby. Before the virus, my husband got a grant to work on a project near his old hometown, where A is passing his time in leave, so we're all living in the same area. I took it for granted we weren't talking to A, but my husband was very upset by everything that happened, and I specifically remember him saying, "I never want to see that man again." Yesterday evening, however, my husband casually mentioned as he was getting out the shower that he looked forward to playing soccer with A and his brothers in the summer, when a virus had passed and our baby was born. I stayed calm and asked him what the hell he was talking about. He said he didn't want to tell me at first, but A had reached out to him via family when we first arrived in the area and apologised for what he had done. They've been talking and texting for months now, and according to my husband, A is so happy that his actions didn't hurt our relationship, as in my husband's relationship with me, and is looking forward to baptising our baby. My husband's basic reasoning here is that everybody deserves a second chance, and that all is well because A humbled himself enough to apologise. Yeah, hell to the fuck no. This man is not getting anywhere near my baby. Not only was he gross and manipulative, he also tried to use religion to justify it, which I think means he is the last person who should be involved in the baptism. Also, I may be judgmental here, but I do not believe for 1 second that A is really sorry. On the other hand, I have also benefited from my husband's everybody deserves a second chance policy, and I feel hypocritical telling him that this guy doesn't deserve a second chance. My husband seems to show some kind of understanding that I would be upset by this, as he was pretty sheepish about explaining the situation, but he also just seems to think that I'll get over it. What the hell do I do here? Can I forbid A from ever getting near my baby? Like you said, hell no. This guy tried to blackmail you into having sex with him, using religion to do so, behind your husband's back. The betrayal in this story is just so huge. He doesn't deserve to be anywhere near you or your baby, and I would outright tell your husband, no, he's not coming near me or the baby. And it's concerning that your husband thinks an apology is enough to forgive him for what he done, for the way he tried to betray him too. Wow. Let's have a look at the comments below to see what they say. Jatot says, hell no to the no, no, no. Love that meme. Little Mistake says, well, my first issue is how misogynistic it is that A apologised to your husband and your husband forgave him like that was the transgression. No apology to you for what he did. That's a big red flag to both of them. Some things are not forgivable, or you can forgive but never have contact with them again. Some people are just too much of a risk, so it's better to let them go. This man is one. I'm afraid for you and your child with your husband. He's easily manipulated and not protecting you both at all. And Warflower says, sorry, I missed the part about why everybody deserves a second chance. This man tried blackmailing you and coercing you into having sex with him. On top of that, he didn't even apologise to you. And even if he did, that doesn't mean he's automatically forgiven and gets to be part of your lives again. I would talk about this with your husband again. Worst case scenario, you could probably get a restraining order against him, and it might help your husband to know you'd be willing to go that far. Wow, so how do you think OP should deal with this, with her husband now forgiving this guy? How should she proceed that further down the line? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And our next story is from a throwaway account. A family member, 34 male, just confessed to me, 25 female, that he's been in love with me for years. Please, I need advice on what to do next. I, 25 female, have been staying with my distantly related cousin, 34 male, second cousins, for a few months. I left my original hometown to get away for a while after a hard breakup. My cousin popped into my head as someone I could stay with. He's always been a close friend to me since I was little, and I truly only started really acknowledging him as my cousin recently. Beforehand, I always called him a friend because we met as friends first when I was 8/9, and he became good friends with both me and my older sister. It was only revealed that we were related a few years after we had met. A little background on our friendship, he's always been someone that I could rely on. He was a socially awkward guy, and I was a weird girl, so despite our age difference, we got along well. He was really close friends with my sister as well, so we could all hang out together from time to time. I always felt like I could be myself around him, and I never really felt weird. My family never had a problem with him either, whether it was me hanging out with him or going to stay with him recently. But I can 100% say there were never romantic feelings for me involved. It was purely friendship and nothing more. I thought it was the same for him too. But one of my flaws growing up, and even now, was always me being very naive about everything. So my time staying with him was up, and I was ready to go home. I hopped on my plane, said goodbyes, and when I turned on my phone, I see that he sent me a long confession letter saying he's loved me for years, even since I was younger. In my culture, some people say it's okay to marry your cousin, which I totally do not agree with. Most of the younger generation generally stays away from this practice. There are some age gap relationships as well, but again, I'm against those and I feel it's gross thinking about them. Just reading his confession, it makes me feel, I don't know, sick, almost violated. He was so much older than me, as well as a family member, and I feel deceived as well. If I had known this beforehand, I don't think I would have stayed with him at all. I don't know what to say to him, if anything. I was hoping to go back and visit him again, especially he has taken care of one of my pets for me, but now I feel really uncomfortable. I'm sitting in the airport during my layover with a sick feeling in my stomach. A part of me blames myself for not seeing this earlier and letting myself get into this situation. What do I say or do next? Edit, for clarity, my cousin did say that he understands the family thing is weird, and he did say that he knows I have no romantic feelings towards him. I guess I'm just confused on what to say to him and how to approach it. To me, if it was clear to him how I felt, and if he knew it would make me uncomfortable, why would he still say that to me? Computerized emotion says, you should get your pet back. Stripe the Tomcat says, trust yourself. I feel the same you do, though I'm not really part of a culture that frowns upon second cousins getting together in a romantic fashion. However, your gut feeling and the age difference, which you disliked and which I perceive as grooming, even if he didn't premeditate it, tells me you should keep an appropriate distance from the dude and get on with your life. Really don't worry about it. You do you, ignore the creepy 34-year-old cousin. Mediocre Raptor says, question, so you've been friends since you were 8 or 9, and he was 17 or 18. How were you friends first before realising you were second cousins? Dude has been creeping on you since you were a child, and he is close to being an adult. That's gross as fuck, and you need to stay clear of him. Edits, hey OP, just had a thought. Was your second cousin the one to strike up a friendship first when you were 8 or 9, and he was 17 and 18? Because I have a distinct feeling that he probably did, which means he was seeking you out from when you were a child. And Goobly Gob says, I would be very firm in letting him know that how he made you feel uncomfortable and that you would find his advances inappropriate. Wow, this story is all kinds of wrong, I guess. But how would you deal with it if you was OP after she received that text and he's currently looking after one of her pets? How does she get the pet back without it being a whole weird situation? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And our next story is from a throwaway account. My 17 female, boyfriend 16 male wants me to join his parents' MLM so we can be rich. Hey there, I need advice please. My boyfriend's parents are in Amway and they apparently make enough money back for them to keep investing on it. I must say they're not the problem. They're the loveliest and nicest set of parents I've ever met, and have never talked to me about Amway, even with my boyfriend asking them to. They're good and I really like them. The problem is my boyfriend in this particular thing. He's been brainwashed by his parents' mentors and calls them his mentors as well. He's talking all the time about him making me join the business and that I need to help him in the business so I won't need to study systems engineering, which is what I want to study. He's also trying to push me to watch the Amway videos, join the shitty Zoom meetings and read books and all the fake shit they promote so I can learn. Now, me having lots of relatives that can't shut the fuck up about Herbalife, Mary Kay, or other crappy MLMs, this is beyond pissing for me because I'm trying to be polite because his parents aren't the problem. He's the one who can't stop talking about Amway and me joining so I can make a lot of money, and he wants to sell expensive shit to my mum. Hee hee. I don't ever want a future personally involving an MLM ever, but I do want my boyfriend and his parents in my future. How can I make him know thinking an MLM can't be his future at all? He deadass thinks he can become a millionaire with Amway because the shitlords there said they were homeless and broke as fuck and they spent all their money on Amway, and woohoo, we're rich with 10 mansions and 100 sports cars. Join us now. Fuck Amway. Advice for please how to tell him without being rude because he's the kind of guy that thinks a girl saying fuck is not ladylike, and fuck that too, but I love the guy. Thank you. Edit. I'm not going to stop pursuing my systems engineering degree, nor stop saying fuck, nor join Amway, just because my boyfriend told me so. I have a mind of my own, all I'm asking is for what to do. I think all you can really do is like we say in a lot of these posts is set your boundaries up and say, look, you're not willing to discuss Amway. You don't see that as a future for you. And then, you know, if you love him that much, be there for the fallout when it does, you know, fall to pieces. But you also need to explain if your relationship does get serious that you don't want Amway in your life. You don't want it to be a part of you. And then he or you both need to make that decision from there on. But yes, MLMs, man. Mechana Goddess says it's the same as any other cult. You can't force a person out. The best you can do is let them know you'll be there for them when they leave. I'm sorry, but you need to prepare yourself for the fact you might lose them over this. Tall Pug says, the good news, you're young, so it's easy to find a new boyfriend who isn't a moron. Pylea says, you can set a boundary about him talking to you about Amway or pitching the business to you. Make it an off-limits topic. I'd be shocked if he respects that boundary, but you can try. Focus on having fun with him now, but don't bank on a future with him. He's been fully indoctrinated by his parents and their social circle. This thing is going to thoroughly ruin his financial future, and if you tie yourself to him by getting married, combining finances, or living together, you're going to thoroughly ruin your financial future too. And Bearden says, one thing that helped me when friends were doing the Amway thing was simply this. I counted every pitch with a request to see the last 2 check stubs from their profit or pay, or whatever they were claiming. They never came across with them, always an excuse that went on for a couple of years until they lost their money and settled back down and went back to work. I do bring it up from time to time. I'm not that nice a guy. That's what I always love. And there's a couple on my Facebook who always promote these. I can't remember who they promote. It's I can't remember which MLM it is. She's been with a few at this point now. And they're always makeup based ones, and they post every single day about empowering women and all this kind of stuff, and I'm all for that, but under the guise of these MLM companies, it's just shitty behavior in my opinion. And occasionally she like posts how much she's made and stuff, and it's like £200 in a month or something like that, and she literally puts so much work into it as well. I gotta respect the work ethic. They post every day contacting people and videos of themselves putting makeup on. You think all that for £200, if you put that into something else, an actual makeup business or something like that, doing makeovers, you'd make so much more money. It just doesn't make sense, the time effort to the money you're making. And they're just so convinced that they're empowering women because of these videos that they put out, these videos that they share with these CEOs of the company standing there saying, oh yeah, what a great thing we're doing, join up today, all you have to do is pay £150 for the startup kit, but you're getting about 600 quid's worth of makeup in that box. Yeah, right, man. Oh wow. I gotta stop. But what do you guys think? On your Facebooks, on your social media, do you spot many MLMs? I think they've quietened down a little bit, haven't they, over the last year or so? I'm not sure, but I haven't seen as many. But I try to avoid Facebook as much as possible because that place is just toxic, man. But let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments below. Once again, guys, hope you did enjoy these stories, and if you did, you know what to do. Hit that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell too. And if you're feeling extra spicy, you can join our membership with clicking the join button down below for YouTube, or heading over onto Patreon with a link down in the description. It is really helpful, and it supports this channel in a huge way. So thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Much love.